At 30 years old, I made a decision that completely changed the trajectory of my life. It is a decision that is not talked about very often, but I feel like it should be considered by more people depending on their goals. It's a decision that cost me $500 to do, but it has a return on investment of probably $500,000. It's a decision that allows me to live life completely on my own terms and allows me the freedom to be able to pursue any sorts of hobbies and other ventures I want to pursue. It's a decision that allows me to have freedom from a lot of worries I have from certain aspects of my life. And while this decision is considered selfish by a lot of people, I think it's a type of selfish that people should practice more often. And so this decision has yielded one major life-changing result. And that result is that I will forever be childless. In case you haven't already guessed it, yes, I have underwent a vasectomy, snipped, sterilized, whatever you want to call it. I have underwent this procedure that renders me incapable of having children. I've been dabbling with the idea of doing this the past few years. I first sort of had this idea of not having kids in my early 20s. It's just never really appealed to me. They complain a lot. They cost a lot of money. And they take away a lot of the freedom that I would have in life to be able to pursue any sort of goals and dreams that I have. And really, no matter how hard I tried to envision a life where kids would somehow fit in my world, it just never really seemed to click. And it always seemed like just not something that would give me any fulfillment whatsoever. Of course, most people assume that I was going to have kids. After all, it's the life script of most Americans. You know, go to college, get a job, find a wife, buy a house, have kids. That sort of a thing. And so whenever I was with family members, older family members would often, throw around the expression, oh, you'll understand once you have kids, assuming that I would have them. Or sometimes they would even ask me point blank, how many kids do I see myself having? And so when I gave them the unexpected answer of 0, they would always reply with the same comment without fail every time of, oh, you'll change your mind. Well, years went by, and if anything, my views on not having kids have only gotten stronger. In fact, closer to my 30s, more of my friends were sort of getting into that age where they were getting married and having kids. And I'll be honest, aside from the milestones that are often celebrated in babyhood or whatever, a lot of the friends that I had kids just didn't seem that happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that they think that their child is the best thing to have happened to them, but I would never know it because they always seemed stressed and they were complaining about how they had to stay up in the middle of the night for the 8th night in a row because of their crying baby. I think the final straw that led me to get a vasectomy is it really started to affect my sex life. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's not like I had really a flourishing sex life. But for the opportunities that I did have, I would always be paranoid that I was going to get someone pregnant. Now, I used protection every time, but even while doing that, I still had this paranoia that I was somehow going to be the unlucky one that somehow got someone pregnant. And so this paranoia just led me to really self-sabotage a lot of the intimacy that I had with women. It was then that I knew that if I want a true peace of mind, that I needed to get a vasectomy. After all, it is the most effective form of birth control available, aside from, abstinence. The Cleveland Clinic reports that the effectiveness rate of vasectomy is 99.99% effective, noting that the odds of getting someone pregnant after a vasectomy are 1 in 10,000. On the contrary, real-world use of condoms is only 87% effective according to Planned Parenthood. Now, I am much more favorable to the 99.99%, so hence I opted for the vasectomy. As far as the procedure, I never told anyone that I was doing this. I knew that if I told my parents, I would be met with backlash and told all the reasons why I shouldn't do it and that I should wait because I might end up changing my mind, even though I have held firm on this decision for almost a decade. So I stayed under the radar and I looked up the best urologist in Florida, which is where I was living at the time, and booked an appointment. The procedure was only $500, which I thought was insanely affordable considering the outcome that it produces. I was fully expecting it to be $2,000 to $3,000. Now, insurance did not cover any part of it, but that didn't really bother me because to me, $500 just seemed incredibly affordable for this type of procedure. The procedure itself was fairly simple. I showed up to the office. They gave me this weird sort of diaper thong hybrid that I had to wear. And the urologist showed up and he introduced himself and he was super friendly. And he asked me how many kids I had already. And I said 0, kind of reluctantly. But to my surprise, he congratulated me and welcomed me to the child-free club. He didn't scold me. He didn't tell me or warn me about, oh, you might regret this down the road. He just congratulated me. Apparently, this urologist also is child-free, and he said it was the best decision he ever made. And so honestly, that just made me feel very comfortable with this decision and made me comfortable because, let's be real, he's about to have sharp instruments near my genitals. So I was not exactly the most calm at the moment. Now, the technique that they use is called a no scalpel, no needle technique, and it allows for a faster recovery time. It only takes 15 minutes, and there's really not much pain at all. There was a couple times where there was a pinching sensation, but I mean, it was like a 3 out of 10 in terms of pain. It was not bad at all. Assumably, those pinches were when they were, snipping the vas deferens and all that. But I was awake during the whole thing. I mean, anesthetized, locally, but I was chatting with the urologist the whole time and it was just a really easy procedure. The recovery was easy enough. Needless to say, I was, sore for like 5 days and I was limping the day after surgery, but each successive day afterwards, I started to feel more normal and more like myself. And I would say after about 2 weeks, I pretty much felt exactly as I did prior. So recovery was pretty easy with this. As of making this video, it has been a little over a year since I've gotten my vasectomy and I have 0 regrets. In fact, the peace of mind that it has given me is immeasurable. And it has pretty much completely alleviated my anxieties with intimacy around women. I mean, I no longer have to worry about accidentally getting someone pregnant, which was the main sort of fear that I had prior. Now the difficult part is just finding someone to date who also doesn't want kids, but that could be a topic for an entirely different video. Not only does it offer that peace of mind, but it honestly just feels neat to be a part of this club that not many men my age are a part of. None of my friends have ever done this. And despite the fact that some of my friends adamantly do not want kids, they have for some reason chosen not to do this. And I think, there definitely still is a stigma about getting a vasectomy. I think a lot of men feel like it will make them less of a men because they don't have sperm or whatever, or somehow things won't work like they did before. But I can say that things work exactly now as they did before. Nothing has changed in that department. I consider this procedure an insurance policy because there are a lot of goals I have in life, including building a freelance business, traveling more, and just having the freedom to be able to pursue different hobbies and other pursuits. And while if I did have a kid, I would certainly embody the role of being a good dad and raise the child well, it would also kill a lot of the dreams and goals that I have. And I think that if there's one thing that people should be selfish about, it's the goals and dreams that they want to accomplish. And so to that end, that's why having a vasectomy has been the best decision I have made in my 30s. This is a wild departure from the types of videos I usually upload on YouTube, but I wanted to do some videos here and there about my life journey in general. I don't want to be pigeonholed into doing the exact same types of videos each and every week. And while the YouTube algorithm might be saying, what the fuck is going on right now? I'm okay with that. At the end of the day, you know, I was very nervous to upload this video because, for one, it's just very unusual content, but two, it's also just very vulnerable. But with that being said, I think that people enjoy content that is both authentic and honest, and those are two values that I really want to portray on this channel, regardless of the type of content that I make. And so I think to that end, this video serves that purpose. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I do have one request from you. If you have enjoyed this video, could you do me a favor and click the subscribe button? It would help me out a lot. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.